So, The Last of Us 2. Man, I finally just beat the game, right? This game is extremely long. And I have a lot of opinions cuz this game took so long for me to beat, right? And it was so many spoilers, so many different things coming out that I was able to play this game completely blind. Experience every plot point blind, be surprised by everything, be had to deal with so much, just pain. I've cried like 2 times playing this game. Deal with so much negativity as well from people with different stuff. And I'm just gonna say straight up, if you're one of these people that say you hate the game and you just generally do, I understand. like don't get it. Like regardless of what I say in this video, if you generally have like real criticisms and you feel the type of way about this game and you just can't mess with it, I want to say it no matter if you don't like what I say in this video, if you dislike bomb my video, just straight up just say, like, if you don't like my opinion, I'm just gonna straight up. I understand, man. This video game is divisive as hell. It's depressing as hell. The Last of Us 1 is one of my favorite games, if my favorite game of all time, right? With this sequel, the tone is completely different. Like The Last of Us 1 is a hopeful game in a very unfair world. The Last of Us 2 is unfair world with dire consequences. The message of Last of Us 1 is that even though there's hardship, we can still have hope. The message in Last of Us 2 is that if you can't let things go, it will destroy you. Right? Now, I think the three biggest things, I want to talk about a few things before I go into spoilers, but I think if you come to this video, you want to hear spoilers, but I want to say a few things, then I'll tell you when I got to talk about spoilers. I would say that the character acting, the voice acting is the best it's ever been. Even if you disagree with some character choices, the acting is incredible on so many different areas. The graphics is the best that I've seen. There's still some bugs like with any video game. The pop-in bugs is a little bit there. The gameplay is way more refined. It's still kind of limited on like how much you can like fully unlock characters. But again, I only played it on normal difficulty, so I don't know all the stuff there. But yeah, I would say definitely from like a gameplay perspective, a voice acting perspective, and graphics perspective, it's a masterpiece, as everyone's been saying, right? But the biggest thing to talk about is the story choices and spoilers. So if you haven't finished the game and you haven't been spoiled, I would definitely say check this game out without being spoiled. But I got to talk about three major things that is very divisive in this game. And again, I was so confident. I felt so confident going into the review before beating the game. Like I was playing the game, I was like, I do not see anyone's like criticisms right now. I kind of feel like it's overblown. But man, something about the way this game ends and just everything that happened in the way it went down crushes me, man. And I'm going to be very objective here. I'm not going to just only use my bias and my feelings towards characters. But yeah, let's just talk about some spoilers here. Let's talk about some spoilers. So I think the three major things that makes or break this game is how Joel's handled, how you feel about Abby, and if you feel like the diversity in this game is like more than just you feel like it's politics, right? So let's address the one that I can't really give a real opinion on because it's your personal, like it is what it is, like it's just how you feel about it, like So like the politics thing, right? Like the diversity stuff. So this game covers a couple of diversity topics. Like Abby is muscle bound. Like a girl is muscle bound. Before the game came out, a lot of people thought she was trans. I thought that was a big thing because I didn't know the spoilers, but I can kind of guess that Joel was going to die and that Abby was going to be a problem because the girl was swole. The thing about me is I don't care about any of that stuff. That's just not how I deal with things. If you feel a type of way about that, then that's you, man. That's you. I'm not judging. Don't feel like I'm judging you. If you don't feel comfortable with that, that's your choice, right? But yeah, no, Abby is not trans. She's actually a female. Like, I don't know why I thought so. But I guess because I kept on hearing negative things about her. But of course, that's not the negatives that people was talking about Abby for. So I'm not going to misrepresent them. But yeah, they talk about certain stuff. We have a character later on that's is a person that was born a lady but wants to be a man, so they can be a warrior in that culture. And again, Ellie, of course, is a lesbian because that's been the thing since Last of Us 1. So if you have a problem with Ellie continuing down that path, I don't know what to tell you. And also, since she was almost raped by like a creepy male dude, I don't see where you think she's gonna like men like that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So with the political stuff, dude, I go to a college where it's very diverse. I have trans friends. I have one of my closest friends is a very strong female who is strong like Abby. So if you have a problem with that, fine. If you don't find her attractive because she does have a sex scene, again, it's being memed to death. But again, if you have a problem with that, that's you, man. But I really don't care about any of that, and I felt like it was kind of used pretty well in this story. Just my personal opinion. Now, I want to talk about Joel because I feel like that's the biggest thing that needs to be talked about here. So, Joel, even after playing this game, is my favorite character in the entire franchise. He's a great person. And again, I'm going to get more into that thing, but he's a great father. What his decision in Last of Us 1 really shapes the entire narrative of this game and the repercussions of it. Now, we all know why Joel massacred the Fireflies. Okay, we know why he did it, because he didn't want to give up his one and only chance to be a father again, and he just couldn't do it. He had to stop it. And we have to be fair here. No matter how much we love Joel, no matter how much we love Joel and we love Ellie, what he did was selfish, and it doomed the planet if Ellie really was the cure and they could have solved something. We have to be honest here. Despite how much we love the fact that Joel got a chance to be a dad again, if the shoe was on the other foot, if you didn't know who Joel was, like if you didn't know who Joel was, you didn't know his character, you would have thought he's the worst person on the planet and he needed to be taken out because he took out, I guess, the only person who could have saved the world at that time, which is Abby's father. And again, the story talks about it because we get more backgrounds of like Abby's father. We get more like, just pretty much like, are you really going to kill a little girl to save the world? And again, if you're looking at it from an objective standpoint, if you never knew who Joel and Ellie was, then yeah, you would kill one person to save our entire planet for its doom. But yes, like the frustrating part is that Joel does end up saving Abby's life, but it's just that Abby had like 4 years of frustration and buildup that it's hard to believe if someone kills your dad and pretty much massacres the Fireflies like Joel did, because remind you, Joel killed the Fireflies in like the most disrespectful way ever, bro. Like again, I'm finally cracking jokes, but this game made me really sad, really sad. But Joel shot these Fireflies in the nuts, like he massacred all of them. Like the fact that he killed like the best surgeon on the planet, apparently. Yeah, like no matter how much I love Joel, the way he died, it's hard for me to say, but the way he died, the disrespect he got, it's kind of like karma, man. Like no matter how much of a good person Joel became to be, it's tough to say, but the way he came at the Fireflies to fight to save Ellie, it was the same energy that they was going to come at him years later. And if you wanted to say like Joel should have lived, looking at it is like Joel was pushing like his late 30s. It's 4 years later. He's become like a more softer person. He's raising Ellie. He's more into her own, like he's in a community now. He's not thinking like Survivor anymore. He's thinking like a father again. And that's where they caught him being vulnerable. Like, yeah, they got the craziest luck to find Joel, right? But like Tommy and Joel are just in a different place, and that's what sets up him being killed. And again, the flat and this, it'll be one thing, right? If this was the only time we see Joel, but we get flashbacks and we get more confirmation. Because for me, I thought Joel died, never telling Ellie the truth. But the flashbacks were amazing. They showed where, like, what happened between Joel and Ellie that led to the strain of them characters. Because a lot of people I read, they were saying that they had a problem with how Joel and Ellie interacted. But imagine someone who you love has lied to you for years, and you know they're lying to you, but you can't prove it. That will make such a strain on your relationship. And I think the game did a great job between those two characters. I really do think so. And I cried when I saw the ending, and you see that Joel and Ellie are finally trying to make things work again, and you know that he dies the next day. Man, it makes me want to cry right now because again, I've dealt with a lot of deaths in my life, and it hits, you know. So yeah, for me personally, maybe if they would have showed the flashbacks or they would have told the story in a different order, it would have felt better. But I think what they did with Joel wasn't bad, in my opinion. It could have been better, but I think it really, because it made me feel like Ellie wanted me to fuel for rage and wanted me to kill every single body, which the story tells you that it ends up tearing you inside out, which is not the first thing. It's not the only story that does that, but I felt the execution was pretty good. Not like perfect. I'm not perfect, but really good there. Made me feel a lot. Now with Abby. Abby makes or breaks this game for you, to be honest with you. If you can't forgive Abby or you can't empathize with Abby, I completely understand if you hate this game. Straight up. Because it's hard for me as well. Like I knew somehow, some way the Fireflies had to be the reason why they went at Joel like that. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't make no sense to me. Because the story, I felt like the story didn't want to tell you straight up that it was the Fireflies. They wanted you to give you more room to kind of think about it. But I felt like it would have been a lot easier. Just would have told you straight up, like, yeah, Fireflies, this is how we gonna do you. But I think they just wanted to give you more suspense. But with Abby, again, I'm not gonna talk about the political stuff. If you feel like, her having big arms is a problem, okay. I just know a lot of females who have big arms and they're not men. So with Abby, I think they did a great job of making me care about her. It's just, again, when you kill such a beloved character, it's hard. I'm not going to go by that logic that once you kill my favorite character, you're it for me. Like, I like to see things in nuance and gray, and I think she does a great job with that. But man, it's tough because you play with her for a long time. I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest problem with this game is the pacing, because again, Ellie and Joel are my favorite characters, right? And again, it's just, you stick so long with Abby, and if you don't like Abby, you know what? No matter what I say at the end of this video, I completely understand. Because man, I was sitting there like, damn, I'm really playing Abby as long as I'm playing with Ellie. Now, I grew to like Abby a little bit, but like at the back of my mind, just like Ellie later on in the game, I can never forget what she did to Joel. And I know objectively what Joel did was a massacre and he's wrong for it, but it's just hard. You know what I mean? It's hard. Like, again, I have a problem letting things go, and this story really hits on that, right? So Abby, you get to see her friends, you get to see the context behind them, you get to learn more about these people, and you get to understand that, like, they're not awful people, but they attack the wrong character because you care about that character, right? And yeah, it's kind of interesting how this story chooses to kill characters and then later on give you the background behind them. So like, their destiny, but you learn who they are before they died. It's an interesting way of telling storytelling, which I kind of appreciate the confidence there. I kind of do. But yeah, with Abby, I grew to understand her and accept her, but I don't forgive her. I think people need to understand that. It's so you can accept people, you can accept their actions and accept what it is, but you don't need to forgive that character. You don't have to, right? I don't think just because she killed a fan favorite character that she's an awful character. I think she really shows that the enemy and who's a bad person. Again, if I'm stuttering too much, it's because nigga is actually sad. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, but if a character is good or bad, it really depends on perspective, right? But I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't finish that boss battle when you're fighting Ellie without taking a lot of breaks, because I was like, okay, well, because when we was fighting different characters, right, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait till we finally meet up with Ellie, and then we're gonna play as Ellie, then we're gonna beat Abby, right? I thought that was what was gonna happen, but then we get to Tommy with his gunfight, and Tommy was a badass. He literally could have killed Abby at any time, but we get there, and I'm like, why am I still playing as Abby? Like, I was sitting there just like, when do I switch over to Ellie? That's all I was asking. When do I switch over to Ellie? And you don't. You continue playing as, again, villain depends on perspective, but when you on the side of the Gen 1 Last of Us characters and you're beating the crap out of the chosen one for you, which is Ellie, it was too much for me. I was sitting there, I'm just like, am I about to kill Ellie with this new character? Like, at that point, I didn't care how much I grew to understand Abby. I was just like, I am about to kill my second favorite. You already killed Joel, which I try to give you some type of leeway because he did kill your dad and kill your entire family. But like, don't mess with Ellie. And that moment, I took a long break. I took a very long break. But yeah, with Abby, it kind of worked for me, but I understand why if it doesn't work for others. I completely understand it. I'm not going to say everyone's trolls for it. Like, I understand it. Now, with that ending, man, it's tough. It's really tough because we get to see that how much Ellie's grown and is trying to move past her revenge, right? But it's crazy because Tommy ends up living that, which again, it sucks, man, because Jesse dies, and again, it's fair because Ellie hunted down Abby's friends, and again, Abby let Ellie and Tommy go, but they hunt her down as well. Like, again, I understand why Ellie and Tommy did what they did. I understand when Abby did what they did. Like, no matter how much I hate Abby, I understand her, and I think you got to give the writer so much credit for that, right? You got to give him credit for that. But the ending where Ellie has a family, she has everything she wants, but something about that PTSD and remembering what she feels, I understand that. And some people who doesn't go through grief or who has experienced that feeling of revenge or feeling of loss, you might not understand it. If you do, cool. But for me, I understood that because it's really hard for me to let some things go. And I'm a very forgiving person. But when it's something like a family member or someone that important to you dying, it's hard to let go. And when you see Ellie in ways where you just like, I really wish it wasn't like this, but to me, it was very realistic because I've seen that happen. And when she's trying to hunt down Abby, and you see what happens to Abby later on where she gets captured, she goes from like, super swole to like a shell of her former self. You can see like where the main message of the story is going, where the more and more you try to let go, revenge and trying to fulfill some destiny that you could have been happier for keeps drawing you back in. Because when you look at Abby, you look at Ellie, if Ellie would have let go of trying to, try to feel like her life would have more meaning and she would have just, died for the Fireflies, she would have had a happier life with Joel. And if you see with Abby, if she just will let go of trying to revenge her father and just enjoy her life with her friends, because her friends are super loyal. None of them ratted on her, even when they was about to die and they was brutally beaten down by Ellie. None of them did. Like, they both had great people in their lives, but they let trying to revenge their fathers and revenge their families get in the way of that and end up just being broken. And at the end of the game, when you see that Ellie lost her two fingers to play the song that Joel taught her, and it's so sad. It really is. Like that's why I'm having such a hard time doing this review right now because it's so sad. Um, yeah, and I'm not going to be one of those people just because the game makes me feel a bunch of emotions deserves a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to say that. This game hits. The reason why this story hits so hard for me because I went through a lot of family passings and just a lot of problems letting things go. Like this story hits personal bias for me, but I got to be objective here, right? So, I don't think this game is a masterpiece. I don't. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 like Last of Us 1 because Last of Us 1 is probably my favorite game of all time, if I'm being honest. Um, I can say that I am biased towards happier stories, and Last of Us 1 is definitely a happier story, but I'm not going to punish this game for making some ballsy decisions and having a very realistic and depressing story. Like, it's crazy how this game Last of Us 1 came out 7 years ago and I'm 23. So I'm just in a very different place. If I was like the same age I was when I played Last of Us 1 and I played this game, I would have never finished. I would have hated this game. But since I'm an adult and I've experienced so much more, I can understand what they was trying to do with this story. And I could say that if the story had the flashbacks first and you led up to Joel's death and then you continue with everything on where like you kept flip flopping, I think this game would be a strong 9 to 10 out of 10 because the things would have flowed better. And if you would have had more of a happier ending, this is just my own thing. Maybe yeah, we can see a masterpiece or a 9 out of 10, but it's just the fact it's so bleak. And some people are asking for a DLC where you meet up with Dina and you see that Ellie has a better life, but it's just tough because again, I'm a person I like happier stories and I don't like unnecessary darkness. But I felt like with this story, it's hard to say that it didn't work. I would say this is a strong 7 to 8 out of 10 game. Because for me personally, the Joel death felt like it was something that Joel is a consequence he had to pay for saving Ellie's life and being such a brutal person he was for those years. He softened up so much near the end of Last of Us and became so much of just a dad now. And when he died, that's why he got caught up like that because in Last of Us 1, he was in full survival mode. He was completely selfish. He killed with no remorse. And he was just a different person when he died. And when revenge is that high, people don't care how much you change. They're just going to kill you then. And that's just life. Like, you can show how much you changed. And people are just not going to forgive you if you hurt them in such a way. And with Abby, she kind of worked for me. But again, as I can accept her, but it doesn't mean I'm going to fully forgive her. I'm not going to say she's a bad character because she killed off my favorite character. But yeah, that's why I say this game is a strong 8 to like 7 to 8 out of 10. I wish it was a masterpiece. I wish it was like a more positive story. I wish Joel didn't die, even though I expected it. I didn't even know about the spoilers. I was assuming Joel had to die. I just assumed that. But the action set pieces are amazing. The gameplay is amazing. It's just the story is a lot to take, and it's not for the weak. Is not like I've seen a lot of dark things in my life, but something about this game, it's not even like the darkest thing ever. But when you love these characters, and you see what they've gone through, and you understand how realistic it is, it hits. It hits. So yeah, and I'm not going to hate on you if you don't like this game at all. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be really honest. Before I finished the game, I thought a lot of people were just talking. Like just talking, didn't beat the game, and they just got a lot of problems. And again, some people haven't. They just know the spoilers, and they don't care about the context, and they think the game is terrible. And I can understand that because the biggest thing about this game is that knowing that Joel dies, like you getting pictures and like all that type of stuff, it kills a lot. It makes you want to hate the game, especially if you knew about this months in advance. I'm lucky enough that I experienced it with a completely blind view. But yeah, this game really, really hurt me. I'm not going to say they killed everything about it. And again, this might be a Last Jedi. It might be a Game of Thrones. It might be it might be just one of the most divisive things ever, that you either grow to hate more or you grow to love more. Cause I remember with Batman v Superman when it first came out, I thought it was kind of alright. Then when all the critics told me it sucked, I started to feel like it sucked. Then when I saw the Ultimate Edition, I actually said this is not a bad movie. Then when The Last Jedi came out, I really loved that movie. Then I heard a bunch of opinions. I started to hate. Like, it's one of those things. This game is gonna have to really age, man. Yeah, it's gonna have to really age to figure out where it ends up. But I know on my channel I don't really do videos like this, and this video is probably not gonna do that well. But thank you for listening. I just had to talk about this game because I've been looking for it for years, and I worked so hard not to get spoiled. I'm glad I didn't. And it's been a while since a game has really affected me like this, man. So tell me what you guys think about Last of Us 2. Please kind of go in depth like I did in this video. It doesn't have to go 25 minutes long, but I just need to hear what you guys feel. No trolling. Just talk about how you feel about this game, because I need someone to just talk about it with, because this game is really long, and a lot of my friends are probably not going to finish it. So yeah, SonTj, peace. Love you all.